He left a check for $500,000. No name, no explanation, just a single note. You were never just a stain. Live.
Crimson guilt. The restaurant hummed with Friday night energy, clinking glasses, bursts of laughter, the steady percussion of expensive shoes on hardwood floors. Vincent Mercer moved through it all like a shark through water, his tailored charcoal suit a second skin, his eyes constantly calculating profit margins with each overpriced cocktail served. Table 7 needs their check, 9's complaining about the wait, and the couple at 12 wants to speak with you, something about the wine list. His floor manager rattled off problems like machine gun fire. Christ, Marcus, handle it. That's why I pay you. Vincent checked his watch. A Swiss piece worth more than most of his staff made in 3 months. 20 years he'd spent building Mercers from a hole in the wall to the trendiest spot in the financial district. 20 years of 16-hour days of sacrificing everything for this temple of culinary excess. That's when he saw her. Table 15, woman dining alone. Ivory dress that probably cost a month's rent, but she wore it with the understated elegance of someone who wasn't trying to be noticed. Early 30s, maybe. Something about her stillness made her look out of place among the performative diners. She studied her menu with the concentration of someone memorizing last words. Vincent grabbed a bottle of their overpriced Cabernet from the bar. A little personal service to the solo diner. Good for business, good for tips. He was halfway to her table when the busboy backed into him. The wine sailed forward in a perfect crimson arc. Time slowed as Vincent watched horror bloom across the woman's face. The red stain spread across her ivory dress like blood from a wound. Jesus, Vincent snapped, regaining his balance. Why the hell are you sitting in the walkway? The woman stared at him, lips slightly parted in shock. Her fingers trembled slightly as they hovered over the ruined fabric. Marcus, Vincent barked, get me a towel. He slapped a $100 bill on the table. For the dry cleaning. Next time, maybe request a corner table. He turned to leave when he heard the sound, a strange, soft gasp, then a clatter as her fork hit the plate. By the time Vincent turned back, she was on the floor. Her name's Claire Bennett. Marcus stood in the doorway to Vincent's office, his voice low. The restaurant had emptied after the ambulance left, the night effectively ruined. She's been here before. Always alone, always the same table. Vincent tossed back his scotch. Great, so we've got a regular who had some kind of episode. Public relations nightmare. He ran a hand through his silver-streaked hair. Send flowers tomorrow with a gift card. She has cancer, Vince. Vincent's glass froze halfway to the desk. Terminal, from what I gathered. Overheard the paramedics. Apparently, she's been in treatment for months. Marcus hesitated. Her friend showed up after the ambulance. Said Claire had been saving up to come here. Tonight was supposed to be, special. A reminder of normal life. Vincent closed his eyes. The image of red wine spreading across white fabric replayed behind his eyelids, followed now by another, his own mother decades ago, sitting at their kitchen table in her Sunday best, determined to feel human despite the disease eating her from within. Which hospital? St. Mary's was quiet at 2 a.m. Vincent found himself in a hallway of hushed voices and squeaking rubber soles. He had no plan, no reason to be there, just the gnawing sensation that had driven him across town after 3 scotches. Family only, the night nurse told him, eyeing his expensive suit with suspicion. I'm a friend. The lie tasted sour. She's stabilized, but unconscious. The doctor can speak with you in the morning about her situation. Vincent nodded, then asked the question that had been circling his mind. What happened to her? At the restaurant? The nurse's face softened slightly. Combination of things. Severe anemia from the chemo, low blood pressure, stress. Her body's fighting a war, sir. Will she? He couldn't finish. There's an experimental treatment. Success rates are promising, but insurance won't cover it. Standard story. She shrugged with the resigned pragmatism of someone who'd seen too many people die because of financial spreadsheets. How much? Excuse me? The treatment. What's the price tag? About $500,000, give or take. She eyed him curiously. Are you family? Vincent stared through the small window of Claire's room. She looked smaller in the hospital bed, her skin nearly as white as the sheets. The stain from his wine was still visible on her collar. No, he said quietly. I'm the asshole who ruined her night. That night, Vincent dreamed of his mother. She was back in that county hospital bed, thin as paper, yellow as old newsprint. He was 19 again, watching her disappear by inches while working 3 jobs to pay bills that kept coming even as her life was leaving. Promise me something, Vinny, she'd whispered, her voice sandpaper rough. Anything, Ma. Don't become the kind of man who walks past suffering because it's inconvenient. He'd broken that promise 1,000 times over, building his empire on the backs of overworked staff, turning away from homeless people outside his restaurant, pricing his menu to keep out anyone who wasn't part of the elite. He woke up with tears on his face for the first time in 26 years. I need to see the books, all of them. Vincent didn't bother with a greeting as he stormed into his accountant's office Monday morning. Roger peered at him over wire-rimmed glasses. Good morning to you too, Vincent. Coffee? Skip it. What's the restaurant worth? Honest market value. Roger frowned. We've been over this. If you're thinking of expanding, if I sold today, what would I walk away with? The accountant's eyebrows shot up. You're not serious. Dead serious. Roger sighed, pulling up spreadsheets. The property alone in that location, equipment, brand value, probably north of $3 million, maybe $3.5. But Vincent, the place is finally turning the profit margins you wanted. Why would you? And my personal accounts. Another $1 million liquid, 2 in investments. Roger removed his glasses. Vincent, what's going on? Is there something I should know? Legal problems? Health issues? Vincent stood, straightening his tie. Neither, just need to right an old wrong. Marcus stared at Vincent like he'd grown a second head. You're what? Selling the whole operation. Vincent continued signing papers, not meeting his manager's eyes. But why? We're finally in the black after the expansion. The critics love us. There's talk of a second location downtown. Plans change. This is because of that woman, isn't it? Claire something. The one who collapsed. Vincent's pen paused. This is because I want to. Bullshit. You love this place more than anything. More than anyone. It's all you've talked about for 2 decades. That's the problem, isn't it? Vincent finally looked up. 20 years building this empire, and for what? So people can overpay for pasta and pretend they're important for a night? So I can die alone surrounded by fucking Michelin stars? Marcus shook his head. You're having a midlife crisis. Take a vacation. Get laid. Don't throw away everything you've built. Vincent slid the signed papers across the desk. Already done. New owners take over next week. They're keeping all the staff. You'll be fine. And you? What are you gonna do? Vincent stood. The right damn thing, for once. Claire Bennett woke up to white ceiling tiles and the familiar antiseptic smell of hospital sheets. The same ceiling she'd stared at through countless treatments. The same sheets that never felt like home. Her hand brushed against something on the bedside table. A plain white envelope. Inside was a check with more zeros than she'd ever seen in her life. made out to St. Mary's Hospital with her name in the memo line, and a note written in sharp, angular handwriting. You were never just a stain. Live. No signature, no explanation, just the means to fight a little longer. When she asked the nurse who had left it, the woman shrugged. Some guy in an expensive suit. Didn't leave a name. Said something strange, though. What? That red looks better on white than anyone thinks. Vincent sold his penthouse next, then his car. He kept enough to live modestly, a small apartment near the park where he could hear birds instead of traffic. He donated most of the rest anonymously to cancer research. The strange thing was how little he missed any of it. The restaurant had been his identity for so long, he'd forgotten who Vincent Mercer was beneath it all. Now, in the quiet of his simpler life, he remembered the boy who'd once wanted to help people, before ambition and grief hardened him. He never went back to check on Claire, never sought recognition or gratitude. The strange peace he'd found came not from being thanked, but from finally understanding what his mother had told him on her deathbed. The measure of your life isn't what you build, Vinny. It's what you give away when no one's looking. 6 months later, Claire stood on the observation deck of the Empire State Building, her hair growing back in soft wisps around her face. The experimental treatment had worked, not a cure, but time. Precious months, maybe years. She wore a white dress again today. Different cut, same color. A small act of defiance against fear. She didn't know the name of the man who had given her this second chance, just the memory of red wine, an angry voice, and later, inexplicable kindness. Beautiful day. Claire turned to find an older man beside her, gazing out at the city skyline. Something familiar about his profile nagged at her. Yes, she agreed. Perfect. He glanced at her briefly, then back to the view. White suits you.
If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications.